Have you ever wanted to go on a heartfelt journey in the lives of your loved ones and newfound acquaintances? Do you enjoy listening and engaging in uplifting discussions that leave you motivated and inspired to take action in your own life? This podcast is a space where we have in-depth conversations on family, health, spirituality, entrepreneurship, and well, just plain old life. I'm Jesse DeLeon, and this is my passion. Join me on a walk into the fascinating narratives and meaningful conversations that shape our experiences. Welcome to The Knowing, a Life in Stories podcast. Hi, I'm Jesse DeLeon, and I want to share a part of my story for a bigger part of what this story is about and this episode's about. Firstly, I want to say that this story applies to everyone, no matter the age, high school, college, out of college in the workforce, even 30, 40, 50. If you're thinking about making a career change or wondering how you feel about your life and your career currently. So I just want to kind of tell a story about the advice my father gave me when I was feeling a little bit confused about my profession. Well, I grew up both in Southeast Louisiana and in South Mississippi. My parents had a business in Louisiana, and we also had a farm, a working farm in South Mississippi. I have 9 brothers and sisters, and we actually had a working farm, and we all had to participate and be a part of that whole process. In growing up with all of those siblings, there's so many different personalities in the house, and there's so many exciting things going on, as one can imagine, when you come from such a big family. When I was ready to graduate from high school, I felt a little bit uncertain, a little bit confused. I didn't know what I wanted to study. I didn't know what I wanted to declare in my studies. So I just basically took the basics, core studies. And I just felt a little bit nervous. I remember feeling just a little lost, and I didn't know how to process that. I went off to college and, of course, made friends. I was having fun, but I remember feeling still just uncertain. I remember coming home from college after that first year. It went pretty well. I came home for my sister's graduation from high school, and I was home for the summer. Well, unbeknownst to anybody else, I had been doing my 2 younger sisters' hair from the age of maybe 13, 14, and I kept it a secret. I swore them to silence. Otherwise, no more hair for them. I was in the bathroom with my sister doing her hair, styling her hair, when an older sister walked in, and she said, "Oh my, you've been doing their hair all this time?" And I said, "Yes, but you cannot tell Dad." And she said, "Okay, I won't, but you've got to do my hair today too." So I started that, and she kept trying to convince me to let me tell Dad, you're really good at this. This is like a natural gift, a natural talent that you have, and you should really pursue it. And she said, "I know that you're feeling a little bit unsure about university right now. Might be a great time to take like a gap year and try it." So it took her all summer to convince me to finally say yes. Well, when she finally talked to my dad, much to my surprise, my dad said, "Well, of course. And why didn't he come to me to tell me?" Well, my dad addressed it with me, and I said, "Dad, I know you want me to be in the family business, and I didn't want to disappoint you." And he said, "The only disappointment would be if I hadn't learned that this is maybe something that you're interested in." Of course, in high school, I loved art, music. I was an athlete. I loved sciences. And I just, I just really didn't know. I was so torn. So my dad says, well, if you're going to go to hair school, then you're going to research the best school in the country. And immediately I thought, oh, that's got to be New York. And so I said, Dad, I guess I'm going to move to New York. And he said, well, if that's where the best school is. And much to my surprise, I learned that the best school was actually here in New Orleans, the best school in the States, actually. Turns out that the founder of the school was the president of the International Hair Association for the US. Didn't even know there was such an association. So I applied, I got in, and while I was in school, I actually enjoyed what I was learning. It was really like fine tuning and honing in my skills on what I'd basically learned on my own. And I want to just go back a little bit and tell you why I started doing my sister's hair to begin with. I was sad to see them come home from the hair salon and have them run to their room and lock their door and in tears. And they were so embarrassed because their hair was, we have Mediterranean hair. We're Mediterranean. They had curly, thick, coarse hair, and no one knew how to style it. No one knew how to cut it. So I remember sitting outside their door and knocking on the door saying, okay, open up, let me come in. It's not that bad. And I remember looking across the way to my mom's magazines on her coffee table, and it was her fashion magazines. And I said, I'm desperate. I've got to find a way to get them out of their room. So I told them, hey, open the door, look at this magazine, pick out a style. I'm going to make it happen. They did. I don't know why they trusted me, but they did. And that's how I started it. I really, it was out of my own selfishness to get them to come out and play, because we lived on this big farm and there were no neighbors. It was just us. And so that was the reason why I got into or interested in hair to begin with. Never really wanted to choose it as a profession. But once I got into the school, I really loved learning the technical side of it, the science side of it, and thought, wow, this is about anatomy. This is about formulation. This is about chemistry. I mean, I love chemistry. So it began to seem a bit more interesting and a little bit more of a learned science. And soon thereafter, as I began to tell friends that I was, and new friends that I was in hair school, their comments were a little bit off. I was surprised. They're like, why would you want to be a hairstylist? That's not even a real profession. I mean, what happened to college, and why aren't you in school? And you should be, I thought you were going to go into business and eventually run your dad's company. And it just made me feel so sad and so insecure. And I started not to like it, but I didn't tell anyone. Well, graduation day comes. It's time to start looking for a job. And wow, talk about feeling insecure and uncertain. And to all of you out there trying to figure out what you're going to study in college and what you're going to do after college, you know what? We just have to learn to understand and see ourselves for who we really are, and not for how people see us and what people expect from us. And I think only then can we really truly find our course and our path in life. I remember starting my first job, and it became apparent to me that maybe everybody was right. I found that people were not as professional. I found that they were not showing up for appointments. I found that they were staying out all night. It just shocked me. And I didn't think I wanted to be a part of that. So I left this hair business to go back to work for my father's business. Didn't ask any questions of me. Just let me do it. I'd leave the family business, go back to the hair business. This went on for a while. And my father eventually comes to me and he says, son, I want to sit down and talk with you about something. And I said, okay. And it sounded really, really serious. And he said, what's going on here? Why all this back and forth? And then I explained to him that I felt ashamed and a little embarrassed for the comments that people were making, for the comments that my friends were making, and even new people, as I said, that I would meet socially. They were surprised that I would choose that field. And so I just told him I just felt like I didn't want to do it anymore. And he said, son, let me tell you, if you are going to want people to respect the field that you're in, then you're going to have to respect the field that you're in. And it was so amazing. When he said that to me, it just clicked. It suddenly, like the veil was lifted, and I felt like there was hope. And because I really actually did love what I was doing and what I chose to do, and I felt passionate about it. And it was in that moment that it changed my mindset, and really it changed my life, because it had been making me sad and uncomfortable, and it made me really take a hard look at myself and really get to know who I was, and at least begin that process, because Lord knows it's taken many years for me to finally be in a place where I feel comfortable in my own skin, where I'm not insecure about what I do. In fact, I've been in this business for 20 plus years. I've been a successful business owner. I've managed my business successfully from a financial standpoint. I took the advice and the information and the influence that my father instilled in me. He was one of my greatest mentors, and I learned a lot about business from his business. And consequently, I learned to manage and run a business in the way that my father ran and successfully ran and managed his business. I've been practically all over the world with this business, never thinking that I would ever have that opportunity. I wanted to study business because I wanted to do international business. And I've found myself in places like Hong Kong, Tokyo, Paris, New York, California. It's just been an amazing, amazing journey for me. And I just feel so passionate to share this, because we have to change the way we see ourselves. And we want to start to accept ourselves for who we are, and the expectations that we place on ourselves shouldn't come from the expectation that society places on us or what society expects from us. We mustn't allow society to determine the path that we're meant to take in this life. We are part of the society. We make up the society, and rather know that the society that we live in, that we engage in, it's made up of electricians, plumbers, firefighters, police officers, accountants, engineers, doctors, lawyers, and yes, you know what? Amazing hairstylists. So, we must use and accept our God-given gifts. And that really is what it boils down to, what this conversation is really about. It's to inspire you, to give you hope, to know that if you're 30 or 40 and you're struggling with your job, or even something that's more personal, it's okay. It's part of what we as humans experience. What is really important is to find great mentors. Let it start from your parents. Let it start from your older brothers and sisters. My family has been so supportive of me throughout my life. And without them, I wouldn't be as strong and as confident and as resilient as I have become to be, and to be comfortable in my skin. And I just want you to know that it's all right to lean on people that want to be there for you. It's all right to ask questions. It's all right to question your thoughts and question your path even. But what's most important is that you question it, and that you seek the answers out, and that you lean on, most importantly, I found that leaning on my parents was a huge thing. And whether you're from a single family parent, or you have two parents, it's a tough and harrowing job for the parent. And we have to give them a little break and give them credit. They only want the best for us. Our siblings want the best for us, and they love us. So I just want to say, keep up the good fight. And I'm going to be sharing more stories about myself, about my life, in hopes that they will, and well, in hope that they're going to inspire you to your call to action, to your path that you're meant to be on, and to discovering the gifts that you were blessed to have. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to our next episode in our time together.